I've lost a hairpin. I had short hair for most of the time that I was a teenager, most of my adolescence. So I feel like I've kind of missed the curve a little bit with having any interest in maintaining my hair or knowing how to make it look nice. Um, I do feel sometimes like a lot of I guess feminine ritual kind of went over my head because I went to an all girls school which was predominantly um, Asian and predominantly Muslim. So I think a lot of stuff with hair, obviously, didn't track over. Um, and also tanning. I never got any, there was never any interest in tanning, obviously. Most of the girls I knew would avoid going in the sun because, they thought it would be a bad thing to be darker. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny now, having talked to women about their experience in secondary school, and also just, the stuff they kind of think about on the regular, maintenance wise. I think a lot of it just kind of goes over my head, which isn't a bad thing. I think more and more I try to reduce what I feel is kind of incentivized um an artificially incentivized quality that is expected of me, an artificially implemented standard for what I should kind of aim for in my presentation. Um, and I've been lucky enough to, I think, not worry too much about, some of the things which other people who've been raised female um, deal with. And I do think, and more and more as I mature, as I age and become an adult, um, I feel like I don't have as much pressure, or I don't feel as keenly the need to, you know, get plastic surgery. I was very keen on getting plastic surgery for a while, and I would draw, or I would get a photo of myself, kind of like a front view, side view, and then I would draw on what I would change or how I would change my face, and I would look at the price of surgery and see how much I would have to save up in order to get the things I wanted to get. Sorry, that was a bit gross. And it's just funny looking back on it because now, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm significantly less insecure. I do still kind of have insecurities, but it's far more so about my personality, my abilities, my personhood, rather than these kind of external things. Like I feel sorry. I feel as if in some way I've made a few little steps forward towards being neutral to myself. I think it appeals to me more because at the end of the day, it's incredibly expensive to um chase the ideal body, face. My Snapchat notifications are going crazy. Oh, my best friend is messaging me. The only person who messages me. Um, but yeah, that was my thoughts um, on that. Um, it is funny. I don't know if um you've ever kind of had that thought where you are looking at yourself or you see yourself doing something or you hear your voice or X, Y, and Z. Um, and you remember that at some point you were insecure of that, but you're not anymore. And the kind of I idea of being embarrassed or ashamed of that feels quite strange and arbitrary because I feel like I've had many phases of becoming like irrationally worried about one part of my body or other. Um, and then eventually I just kind of forget. Um, yeah. I'm still not employed to a stable, singular place of work. I'm working with the agency still. I had a um interview today. I don't think it went particularly well. It was two parts, and I did the first part well enough to get called back for the second part, but then I just chatted shit at the interviewer, and I could feel myself just being like, "You need to shut up! Like, you're not making any sense. You're rambling. You're not giving concise answers. You know." And since what, November of last year, up until now, I've had four interviews, um, all of which obviously have not amounted to work, and I've been struggling with that fact. Um, Hence my previous video being kind of on unemployment. Um, and yeah, I find it really difficult. I kind of feel like I get myself in a bit of a feedback loop where when things go wrong like this, I kind of get in my head about it and it makes me quite anxious. And so when I go to an interview like the one today and I've had the experience that I've fucked up on every interview that I've had before, even when I thought it had gone well, I didn't get anything out of it. Um, I feel like I perform worse, which I know realistically, if I had incredible power over my emotions and could work logically like a machine, I would just be able to kind of like get over that and be like, well, being like worried about this is not productive. But I'm not. I'm a very emotional person. I'm a very um affected person. Um and it's difficult. Um Being in the UK right now is very depressing. Um and I do feel like that is coming from a slightly self-centered perspective. Um I do think that I have kind of a sense of entitlement where I came out of school and came out of university with the best grades possible. um, you know, that I could have achieved. And I was told that, working hard and being good would put me in a good position to get work. And it hasn't, and I know that it hasn't for a lot of people. And I've seen quite a few videos, talking about similar stuff. It just feels very hopeless over here at the moment. I mean, I ideally wanted to have some sort of creative role, in some capacity, and I just see that as less and less of a possibility. One moment, let me get my charger. Because my battery is going to run out on here. It's a very inefficient battery. Um, and I've been working, as I said, with the agency, and I've met some nice people recently. And I think the funny, the enlightening thing is, I've met quite a lot of other creatives who are a lot more successful, and productive than me. I mean, I can't really complain about my position because, like, since university, I've kind of been dormant in any sort of creative pursuits, other than like trying to get jobs, which, I don't do anything really for myself. But, I've met quite a lot of people recently who really do a lot. Um, so, but they're still working the same position as I am. Like, this is like work that not anyone could do, but it's a lot easier to get into than scoring a job through a traditional interview process. And it's, minimum wage, just sort of exhausting and miserable. Um, but these people who are far more engaged and on it than me are in the same position as me. Not that it gives me, an excuse to just throw the towel in, but I think it was really quite, yeah, shocking, um, to hear about their kind of successes. Like, the more they spoke about what they had done and what they were doing, I was like, why are you here? Like, you shouldn't be here. And same with the international, or the people who've moved over to the UK, who've immigrated to the UK, who are working in the same kind of position as me. Like, I mean, this shouldn't really be a massive shock to me, but they're so massively overqualified and so intelligent and so just on it and above, like, you know, what is expected of them. And yet they're in the same position as me, just kind of scraping by, um, without many other prospects really. And it doesn't, it's sad. It doesn't feel right. Um, but this is just how it is. But yeah, um, there wasn't a massive point to this video. I just hadn't talked for a while, and I felt like I needed to have a bit of a vent. I've been reading. I don't know if it's going to be flipped. Less is More by Jason Hickel. Um, I've only really just started it because I struggle to read at work because I've got quite a, um chatty break room, which is nice. I like actually being able to talk to my colleagues. But I usually take advantage of everyone being very antisocial to read. So that's not at the moment, but I might start taking the train to work, which will give me an excuse to sit down and read, I guess. Although again, I'm not used to reading on public transport, so we will see. Um, I'm kind of, yeah, as I said, being quite slow in starting this, but it's also because it's got a lot of damning information about um the state the world is in right now, and the drastic measures that will need to be taken in order to prevent it from becoming like catastrophically bad. And don't know how much capacity I have for that right now. I don't know how much capacity I have for that right now. Um, but it's important to stay informed. I've been reading the news. I've been volunteering, and it's the stuff that makes me feel like it's worth something to be here. But it's a depressing state of affairs over here. Um, and I'm just getting by day by day. Um, I don't expect to hear back from the interview because I really seriously did not do very well in it. Um, but I don't know if I want to work in the sector that I'm working in, so it's, you know, maybe not an awful thing. And I'm working till Easter, and then after Easter, I have to figure out what I'm doing. So I've still got a little bit of time, and yeah, I'm just getting by. Living in a city is very expensive, and it has been a very stressful 6 months, but I'm getting through. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm watching Mickey 17 later. I'm looking forward to that. Love me some Rob Pack.